Hey guys, it's CocoaTarot, and today we have a pick-a-card on the topic of why do people think you're crazy? Today we'll be looking into why some people think you're absolutely insane. Because this concept is medical, I do have to put a disclaimer that I am not a doctor or your therapist, honey. I'm more like the rogue MK Ultra nurse who is breaking you out of the facility. So grab your crayons and let's go. Thank you to everyone who has been supporting the channel. But we have 3 piles to choose from based on the images in the thumbnail. So this will be pile 1, this will be pile 2, and this will be pile 3. And I will see you guys in your piles. Hey, pile 1. We're going to get right into your reading and see why do people think you're crazy. If this reading resonates with you when it is over, let me know down in the comments. I'm super curious. And please like this video if you want to see more videos like this. Let's get your cards out and see what we're working with. So pile number 1. Why do people think they're crazy? 1 card, please. Thank you so much. Okay, you got number 33, Health Specialist Finances. All is well when life goes well. I freaking love when the cards line up with the concept, guys. I'm just like, thank you, spirit guides. Okay, you also, this one flipped out, and it says 26, correspondence message letter. Hurry up, mail. Love cannot wait. All right, let's clarify this with the tarot. I will keep that other card to the side off screen. Tell me about pile number 1. Why do people think they're crazy? Okay, there could be a group of people that have a group chat or are sending messages about you're crazy behind, okay? Tell me more about pile number 1. We have the 6 of Swords in the first house, the Queen of Swords in the second house, the 5 of Swords in the third house, the Page of Swords. Yeah, there's something here big about correspondence. Page of Swords in the 4th house, the Moon in the 5th house, the Wheel of Fortune in the 6th house, the Fool in the 7th house, Knight of Pentacles in the 8th house, 2 of Pentacles in the 9th house, 10 of Pentacles in the 10th house, Magician reversed in the 11th house. I know I keep saying it, but there's something here about the community or your name spreading in a community. You got the 8 of Wands in the 12th house. There could be someone here that is trying to make you seem crazy because you're on to their shtick. Someone here could be playing games, and I was eating these not so long ago, these little octopus gummies. And, you know, octopuses, they have all those long arms, and they're actually super smart. If they lived longer, they could create whole cities underwater. So there could be someone here trying to control your image in the community and has their hands in a bunch of different pots and stirring all of them. Getting back to why people think you're crazy, you're actually coming up really grounded, especially with this significator. You could be a really structured, organized, neat person. Some of you can even be really precise with how you like to do things. It's funny because people perceive you with this everything in its place kind of vibe. And the fact that you have a lot of order or this sense of control about you is what makes people think that you must be crazy. There could even be some people that feel you are too perfect or overly concerned with having things the exact perfect way, and it has to be the formula and this way, and just organized. A lot of people don't see the complexities about you, so you could come across really calm even when you're going through something big internally. Some of you could even be really good at hiding when you're struggling or going through something. I didn't expect in this reading theme to have a pile be so centered that it comes across a little crazy. A lot of people think that you have a secret that you're keeping, especially in regards to like your home life, or some people could even think you're the exact opposite of how you portray yourself. And this makes you crazy because you're so good at turning it on, is what I hear. Someone here really thinks that because you prefer organization, there's something wrong with you. Even with the Six of Swords in the first house, you could be someone who has the appearance of moving on easily. And that doesn't mean you don't get in your emotions or you haven't cried or been upset about situations, but maybe you deal with that on your own and you move on. You're like, okay, such is life. It is what it is. You could even be the type of person where you have to kind of physically move on to move on from people. So move or go to a new spot. And some people could think that you're doing this because you're running away from something. Even that it could be impossible for you to settle down. Maybe you're the type of person who moves a lot or you like to travel. And this could come from a place of joy or learning something new. And people could be like, no, it's because they can't sit down. Some of you guys even have the type of energy levels that make people think you could be on something. You seem to be the type of person who likes to live in a constant state of being in flux, or maybe you just have this desire to change things up every now and then, maybe even change your house up, rearrange the furniture. And for some reason, this reads as instability. Even if you're just trying to improve your life, you're the type of person where you know that switching it up can switch your energy, can switch the environment, So the fact that you are accustomed to changes in general makes people think that you have some screws loose. A lot of people that find you to be crazy are people who have problems with changes and transitions, or they don't really like to change in general. These are the type of people that you could visit them, call them 15 years from now, and they will still be doing the exact same thing in the exact same place. You won't be missing much. You could be someone who speaks directly with a certain kind of demand or sharpness to it. And it can come across as almost psychopathic to certain people, especially people who feel like they have to deliver everything with a little bit of sugar. Can't have any salt, any sour. People like that could think you're crazy because you're not always sweet. These could be the type of people that would say you are demanding just because your order was wrong and you went in and got the order that you paid for instead of just eating it. They would be like, oh, why are you making it such a hassle? And you'd be like, because I paid for it. It's that kind of thing. They could think that you are too blunt. It feels like a lot of people who just plays down the intensity of situations just to please everybody and not make, I heard a sound. This is the equivalent of the other lab rat seeing you break out of the facility and trying to alert the facility workers. You know what I mean? Because there's a feeling of Stockholm syndrome here. Some of the people that you're dealing with, they're so far in their own delusions about life that You living truthfully and honestly makes you seem delusional. These are the type of people that if you confronted them for talking about you behind your back, they would be upset that you caused a scene or that, you're crazy for confronting them when they don't see anything wrong with talking about you in the first place because they were being nice by doing it behind your back. With the Five of Swords in the third house, people could even think that you are confrontational when really you just have the ability to outsmart people who like to control the social dynamics. There could have even been situations where you were called crazy just because you stood up for yourself and made a good point, a valid point. And because you stood up for yourself, they could have said, oh, you're so argumentative. You love creating drama. But they're only saying that because you didn't shut up and take it. These are the type of people that like to be surrounded by people with low self-esteem because they know those people will never talk back to them. These are the bullies that you stand up to and then they cry and they go around other people and they're like, pile number one really hurt my feelings. Meanwhile, they have been energetically targeting you and verbally, probably, because there's a lot of swords energy here. With the Page of Swords energy, you guys could be the type of person who asks a lot of questions. You're always investigating into deeper or hidden truths. And other people could see this as you being paranoid, that you refuse to just accept the world for what it is. But the fact that you question everything is just a part of your nature. You have a relentless curiosity about you. This feeling that you need to know, you need to understand how things work. And for people who don't care about stuff like that, it could come off as erratic, that you poke at things others don't want to talk about. They really think you have a screw loose, but you're just gathering information, seeing the bigger picture. The fact that you even have interest in dissecting the world and why things work and why things are the way they are, you could have asked a lot of questions even as a kid that made adults feel really uncomfortable. And this is why people think you're crazy, because you didn't just swallow the doctrine and fall in line like everybody else. And I'm not saying you're the only person in the world who asks questions or has this spirit about you. There are other people, but they are few and far between. People like you are the reason that people become scientists or biologists or want to do research. If we didn't have people like you, we wouldn't know anything about the world. We need people asking more questions instead of just sitting with the answers that are given. There's something so unsettling about you, pile number one. I think your intelligence truly scares people. And the fact that you don't show people your emotional side as much makes it feel as if there is a fog around this part of your life or this part of you. You have an aura of mystery to you where people can't really figure out your motivations for things, why you're doing things, your intentions. Some people could even think that you're just playing some kind of game with them. And it all goes back to people think that you're crazy because you don't play the games of reality. Some of you guys could even talk to the moon and people are like, what the heck is pile number one doing? Not knowing that the moon is spilling all its secrets to you. I'm hearing this song called Something to Believe In by Young the Giant. And in the song, he talks about speaking a special language to the moon and the sun that other people don't understand, something like that. And that's how you guys are. You are not a slave to your mind. You're constantly trying to figure out ways to break free from some kind of complacency that is in the collective. Maybe that's why you change things around or you move the furniture in your house. It's not necessarily because you're erratic or rigid. It's because you're moving the energy around to create new energy or a new path. A lot of the people that think you're crazy are probably people who don't understand energy or aren't really into spiritual things. I could definitely see that because you operate with the intention of breaking through the fourth wall in some kind of way. You're a bit too meta for the people around you. A lot of you that pick this pile are constantly leveling up, constantly evolving, or if I looked at a picture of you from 2 or 3 years ago, you probably look completely different from now. Or there's something about your energy that's completely different, and you can feel this in yourself. I am not the same person I was even a year ago. And other people can perceive how often you change, how often that wheel turns as too random, too uncertain. And it is mostly a projection because they can't really match up to that significant change in their own life. What's erratic to them is just you evolving. Even with the Fool in the 7th house, yes, you're someone who is highly intelligent. You have a lot going on in that brain of yours, but because you're not afraid of transformation, you come across as super carefree, adventurous, someone who takes risk without considering the consequences. You're not afraid to take a major leap on something that you want. Some of you that pick this pile could be workaholics or a bit manic when it comes to work and creativity. And I mean this energetically. You don't actually have to be manic, but you probably just really dive into your work and don't walk away until it's finished or you feel like you've done a proper job. You could have goals or things that you work hard on, and people could see you being a bit obsessive over this. Maybe that you're too crazy focused on your goals in general. The fact that you intensely care about where you want to go in life or what you want to create could be seen as strange. I'm hearing, why do they work so hard on this? Why do they even care? How you juggle your life in general really seems crazy to people because they can't imagine dealing with life and doing all the extra stuff. And it could not even be that extra to you. Maybe it's just a side hobby or something that you do outside of work. You know, people are just baffled that you have the time to juggle all that you juggle. And what's so hilarious is that with the 10 of Pentacles in the 10th house, your crazy has brought you success. And I say crazy, you know, in quotation marks. Your Delulu has gotten you in spaces, indoors, opportunities, lucrative, long-term opportunities. The 10 of Pentacles is not fleeting. It's a legacy. Kitty, I need to see what's under the card. Okay, the Magician in reverse in the 11th house. Interesting. There could be energies that see you as someone with hidden motives. It's funny that the Magician in reverse comes right after the 10 of Pentacles. People could question your success, your route to success, questioning your authenticity. I am sensing certain people too who think you're crazy because you're not letting them in on something personal or the way that you do things. It's like the fact that you're not always revealing your hand or even revealing your intentions for what you're doing makes people question your process. Especially those of you that are creative, you could have felt this projection of self-doubt or like, why am I doing this? But you know why. You know what I mean? I think other people just try to project that onto you because they can't figure out or decode how you do things. And I think this is why Spirit is always calling you to switch things up or change things, even if you don't understand it. And it's literally because these lab rats are on your trail. There's some weird energy here where they want to call you crazy, but they also want the formula. It's crazy when it's on you, but if they have it, it's innovative. It's new. It could change their life. Do you understand what I mean? And even if they're not smart enough to take your ideas, because I feel like some of these people, they're not even smart enough to understand the formula, even if you handed it to them, even if you explained it. But if they can make you feel like you're crazy, you're full of madness, enough to make you stop what you're doing, then they wouldn't look so stuck in comparison. Whoever these people are, they thought they had it all figured out till you came around. And what they had figured out wasn't anything monumental or new. It was just a way to control the narrative or to control a group. But you are the uncontrollable variable in the experiment. You could be the type of person where if you come in a dynamic and there's a queen bee energy, masculine or feminine, just you being in that environment makes people be like, why are we following this idiot? Why are we playing this game? Why can't we just be ourselves? The fact that you ask questions is too dangerous. So instead, they're going to call you crazy. But that is your reading, pile number 1, and I hope to see you soon. Bye. Hey, pile 2, we're going to get right into your reading and see, why do people think you're crazy? If this reading resonates with you when it is over, let me know down in the comments. I'm super curious. And please like this video if you want to see more videos like this. Let's get your cards out and see what we're working with. So pile number 2. Why do people think they're crazy? Thank you so much. One card for pile number 2. You got number 43, present, gift, surprise. A small gift for great happiness. Now let's get your tarot out. Pile number 2. Why do people think they're crazy? Thank you so much. You got the Star in the first house. Justice reversed in the second house. Queen of Cups reversed in the third house. 5 of Swords in the fourth house. Page of Pentacles in the fifth house. Interesting. Queen of Pentacles reversed in the sixth house. The 8 of Swords in the seventh house. The Moon in the eighth house. The King of Pentacles in the ninth house. The 9 of Swords in the 10th house. The 2 of Swords in the 11th house. And the 3 of Wands in the 12th house. Emperor at the bottom of the deck. All right, pile number 2. You know what's crazy is pile number 1 also had the 5 of Swords in the 4th house. Same placement, different deck. Some of the people that think you're crazy, pile number 2, are people that you grew up with, maybe people from your hometown. For some of you, your own parents could think that you are a little cuckoo bananas. Especially with the Star in your first house and as your significator, the present, gift, surprise. You are so unpredictable. People never know what they're going to get when it comes to you. There's an element of surprise in your aura, in your energy. It's a part of your essence. You are the energetic version of a jack-in-a-box. And with the Star card, you're so open about it. There's almost an unguardedness to you in the way that you present yourself that makes other people have no idea what to expect of you. You could be the type of person who is constantly in a flow state. You're always embracing the present or living in the moment. And the fact that you are that spontaneous, eccentric person is crazy to other people. Even you coming up as a gift is interesting. Big emphasis on freedom in this pile. Maybe you're a little psychic or you're a little wacky when it comes to your ideas and you're not afraid to express that, which is so confusing for people who are more serious or composed, a little rigid. You don't go by the book and it freaks people out. You're so true to yourself, pile number 2, to a point where it makes you feel like an alien to other people. A lot of you that pick this pile do have a big Aquarius-like influence to you, where you're more forward thinking. Again, with these like eccentric ideas, the stuff you come up with is wild. And that trendsetter energy can come across as being a bit out there. Even if your ideas are good, you could do stuff and people will be like, that is never going to work. Yeah, it's cool, but that's never going to work, pile number 2. But it does work for you. You could even operate on your own moral compass, your own set of standards. And people could feel like you're crazy because you're not adhering to social systems, even legal systems for some of you. So the fact that you don't follow the rules could come across to other people as being reckless. I'm seeing someone lighting up a cigarette and someone being like, you can't smoke that here. And you're like, watch me. That's what it is to your energy, where you're not afraid to break the rules. With the Queen of Cups in reverse in the 3rd house, you could be incredibly hard to read. Your emotions, how you're going to react to things. You've definitely had people in your life that have been afraid to tell you stuff because they don't know if they're going to get that Queen of Cups upright or reversed. Some of you that picked this pile, you could be a moody person, or maybe you do have a lot of complexities when it comes to your emotions. They aren't easy to decipher. You are a complex individual. You could be the type of person where, sometimes you're crying and you don't know why, but you're like, I gotta let it out. And people are like, what the heck is wrong with pile number 2? But it feels natural. I feel as if you're just being yourself and feeling your emotions. You're not someone who's just gonna bypass how you feel just because of where you are or who you're around. And this is crazy to people. Some of you guys, you cried on the internet and people are like, oh my gosh, what the heck? Why would they do that? But with the Star card and the 9 of Swords, it was probably a mood. It was probably a vibe, okay? Yeah, you were sad, but you looked amazing. And somebody might have tipped you some money. You know what I mean? There's a feeling here. People are like, they're so crazy, but your crazy works for you. And the reason it works is because you aren't restricted by those societal norms. Whereas other people would be like, oh, I shouldn't do that. My mom's watching, or, this person's watching. You are like, everybody can watch. Let's make a show of it. You know what I mean? And that makes people think that you are crazy. I mean, that Queen of Cups in reverse is wild. I'm getting overly sensitive, but withdrawn, but intense. It's, but that's you. That's you, baby. You feel the full spectrum of human emotion, and you're not going to bury it. And yeah, it makes you look crazy to other people, but what's funny is it's actually healthy for you to cry when you want to cry, to be angry when you want to be angry. You know what I mean? I'm not saying to be at whim to every emotion, but you definitely do not suppress yours. So I'm seeing the Page of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse kind of together in a way. There's something here about you not really caring about money or status in the way that other people care about them. You're not the type of person to hold on tightly to your money. Or maybe you work in a field where you don't really get paid every week. There's just a feeling of people thinking you're crazy because you aren't tied to a salary or to a certain monetary expectation. A lot of you that picked this pile, you probably make money in a really interesting way. Maybe you do like a temp agency, or you make money through certain hobbies, creating things, an online shop. There's a feeling here of your money being a little bit inconsistent. And the fact that you are okay with that makes people think that you're crazy. Even if some of you guys, you make money, but you're not trying to be a millionaire. You really don't care about being the richest person on the planet. And that can make people think that you're insane. Because, you know, society wants us all to be on this rat race chasing money. And I'm not saying money is a bad thing. Money is energy. And where some people get really attached to how money comes and goes, you seem to be very in flow with that and accept it. Or you have multiple streams of income instead of just one concrete career. And people could find that to be too much of an instability for reality. You're more interested in prioritizing your creativity or genuinely enjoying what you do as opposed to just clocking in and making the money. Because you're okay with just existing as opposed to constantly working to make money, there are people that think you are unrealistic with your lifestyle or your goals. I keep hearing in my head, where's your 401k? Where's your backup plan? There's a feeling of people might feel that you have failure to launch syndrome because your ambition is more tied into personal growth and gain as opposed to material growth and gain. You could meditate a lot or be in your head, and people could see this as you dissociating. Even that you have a dreamlike quality to you where you're not always here. People could have said that to you, like, where are you, pile number 2? Back to reality. I'm hearing that song, Mr. Rager by Kid Cudi. And that's you guys' energy. You're off on an adventure. You're up in the clouds, okay? And people could see this. They're like, it's time to come down. It's time to get grounded. That's why I was getting this feeling of like a backup plan, or you just following this source of energy in your life and not even really having goals or an objective, which could be really isolating for you at times with the 8 of Swords and the Moon, because I feel as if you're the type of person to be like, I see things deeper and I see how society just runs us into the ground, and I don't want to be a part of that. But the people around you, they don't understand that mode of thinking, because to them, this is reality. This is what we have. This is what we have to work with. And you just seem to be the type of person who wants something deeper, who is constantly searching for something deeper. You bring back a lot of information and knowledge from the cosmos. But to certain people, it just sounds like noise. It doesn't even sound like anything. You could hit someone with the most profound truth to change their life. And they're going to be like, that's great, pile number 2, but I still have to go to work in the morning. Whoever I'm speaking to, I feel as if you have a lot of otherworldly gifts that are hard to talk about, hard for other people to understand. And sometimes that comes at the cost of people just calling you crazy. Even with the King of Pentacles here in your 9th house, a lot of your craziness is misunderstood because people only see one side of you. You can only see that one side of the moon. Even when I said earlier how what seems crazy to other people actually makes you lucrative money. And maybe it's not a paycheck every week, but it's a paycheck. And a lot of these people that call you crazy, they don't realize that you do have a deeper practical side to you. You even have the ability to create major wealth. Your ideas are $1 million ideas. But it's not about the $1 million for you. It's about the idea. You're someone who has the potential for financial mastery, but it's hidden beneath this free-spirited, eccentric energy that people don't understand. Don't take this the wrong way, but it's almost like an idiot savant. You know what I mean? Which I relate to that. It's like you're actually kind of a genius, pile number 2, but in a rare way that when other people see it, they don't truly value that information. I'm editing this video and I just remembered that idiot savant is a trait that you can expand on a skill tree in the game Fallout. And it actually adds luck to your character, which gives you random chances to experience 3 times the XP points, which is your experience in the game. And that's so relevant to your reading because all these downloads, it could feel like a lot, but then you are getting 3 times the experience as the people around you. You could have an extraordinary memory or even extraordinary abilities when it comes to like music, math, reading. There's something here, a hobby that you're so good at to the point where it doesn't even make sense. It has to just be crazy. I think people even distance themselves from you sometimes because of your creative genius or whatever otherworldly ability you have, because I feel like it's different for all of you and it's big. There could even be a few of you that have the ability to see colors or taste sounds. I forget what that's called, but remote viewing. There's something here that is just not really understood by people because it hasn't gotten the research that it deserves. Sometimes the things that people cast off as crazy are actually just places that we need to explore more and understand better. And I think if people really sat down and had an honest conversation with you, they would realize how freaking smart and genius you are. For a lot of you guys, you need to be around people who can help you nurture these abilities as opposed to making you feel indifferent or weird because of them. But despite all of that, ending with the 3 of Wands in your 12th house is amazing because you definitely have a clear vision of what you want in your life. Other people just don't understand it. It's making me think of a meme I saw, and it was a picture of someone like on a beach with a bunch of crystals and zenning out, and it said what people think spiritual enlightenment is, and then under it was what spiritual enlightenment really is, and it was the guy from It's Always Sunny with the conspiracies and red ribbons up on the wall. That's you guys' energy. A lot of people don't understand your long-term ambitions or even the bigger picture that you're working toward in your life. But in actuality, you're actually setting yourself up for success. There's something about this phase in your life right now where you're playing with energy and not having that expectation of what the energy looks like. That is a part of a growth phase you're going through. The reason you get so many divine downloads is because you are playing with energy. Your craziness is really just an unconventional way of navigating the world. You're not afraid to dive into new ideas, to follow your own path. And instead of embracing it like a weakness, like some people want you to, you're just embracing the contradictions, embracing the complexities of being a freaking human. And that is your reading, pile number 2. And I hope to see you soon. Bye. Hey, pile 3. We're going to get right into your reading and see why people think you're crazy. If this reading resonates with you when it is over, let me know down in the comments. I'm super curious. And please like this video if you want to see more videos like this. Let's get your cards out and see what we're getting into. So pile number 3. Why do people think they are crazy? Thank you so much. One card for pile number 3. Okay, you got number 9, passion, desire, sexuality. If you play with fire, you will get burned. Interesting. Let's get your tarot out. Clarify this for pile number 3. Why do people think you're crazy? I just heard you're crazy hot. Some of you guys, your crazy to hot scale, people could think about this. You could be so hot that people could think you're crazy, which is an actual thing where people will see people attractive and be like, oh, you're too attractive. You must be crazy. You must be, you know, completely out of your mind. There has to be something about you that's negative. And people can often just think you're too hot to be sane. Okay, clarify this for pile number 3. You got the 5 of Pentacles reversed in the first house. The 6 of Swords reversed in the second house. The Page of Wands in the third house. The 8 of Swords in the fourth house. The Queen of Wands, there it is, in the fifth house. Masculine or feminine, you look good, okay? You look good. Temperance in the sixth house. Emperor in the seventh house. King of Swords in the eighth house. Ace of Cups in the ninth house. Empress in the 10th house. You guys, we got the Emperor and the Empress. You are crazy good looking. You could have even been hooking up with people and they were like, you're crazy in the middle of it, okay? You got the 2 of Pentacles in the 11th house and the 10 of Swords in the 12th house, and that fell on the King of Swords. There are some of you guys that have an ex who thinks that you are absolutely crazy. But they would definitely hit it again. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Wow. I'm actually stunned that we got the Emperor and the Empress. And I will say that you are so good looking, pile number 3. I'm kind of glad this isn't a reading in person. Because the symmetry of your face, your body, is crazy. You are so magnetic, so alluring, that you make people want to take crazy risks around you. You make people crazy. You have a fiery energy to you, and I feel as if you embrace this. And other people find it so intense. Very raw, full of passion. Even if you're not in an intimate atmosphere, there's passion all over you. And this kind of passionate energy that you hold, this bold energy within your masculine and feminine side, makes people want to judge you. You could feel like an outsider sometimes, or like that fiery energy makes you stand out from the crowd. There is a big emphasis on how you express yourself sexually. Makes a lot of people want to project onto you. And that doesn't mean you have to be this person who is, you know, walking around, everything all hanging out. You don't have to be that type of person. But there's a way that you convey your passion, your fire, that makes other people want to call you crazy. Even when it comes to matters of the heart or love, you could be the type of person that when you're with someone, you want to give them everything. And other people could see this as crazy, as, you know, why are you putting your heart out there? Why are you so open or vulnerable? I'm hearing, why is your beauty on display? People could even call you crazy because you like to look presentable or you like to dress up. I'm hearing that's crazy. I would never wear that. I would never say that. I think there's a lot of people that secretly envy the freedom that you have to express yourself, especially with the Empress in the 10th house. That is fully being your creative, vibrant self and putting it on display for others to see. And there are some people who were taught that that creative, bold side of themselves is to be hidden, or is a weakness, or is uncouth. Your enthusiasm for life, that excitement you exude, makes other people think that you're a bit strange. I feel as if you live your life in a way where others, they sit up and take notice. You're confident, and for a lot of people, it's overwhelming. And they label you as crazy because they don't know how to deal with that much confidence. With the Temperance in your 6th house, you could be the type of person who has this bold side, but you also know when to go a little soft, when to switch up your energy a little bit. The way that you navigate extremes, how you go from being this intensely sensual being to calm and poised, other people don't know how to do that, so they just label it as erratic. How can someone exude so many different energies but be one person? With the King of Swords here, there could even be some people that don't understand how you could be beauty and brains. People could have even looked down on you or punished you because of how attractive you are. For example, when I wanted to start a YouTube channel, someone told me, well, why don't you just do like makeup? You know, you'd probably be way better at that. Then you don't have to study about astrology and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like people might label you crazy because you look good, but you also want to invest in your intellect with the King of Swords. You also have a sharp mind. You don't use your body to get ahead. A lot of people want to just downplay you as a pretty face, as an attractive meat suit. And then they find out that you are a whole person with intellect and personality and a fearlessness. So they label it as crazy. Even people project craziness onto you. So for example, they could be like, oh, they're crazy not to use their looks to do X, Y, and Z. Or they're crazy not to use this resource to do X, Y, and Z. People could think you're crazy because you're not trying to take advantage of situations or people in your life, because that's what they would do if they looked like you. If these people looked like you, they would be running around, stirring the pot, messing with everybody, stealing people's person, you know what I mean? Just because they could. And you don't do that. You don't need to assert your dominance in situations because you don't really care about that. And I think for some of you, it's even the opposite, where you're like, I'm working hard to show you that I am more than just a pretty face. Because people really do try to downplay you as eye candy, as if you should just sit there and look pretty. And because you don't do that, you are crazy. Man, if I was pile number 3, I'd be having that OnlyFans. I mean, I'd be showing it off. I'd be, you know what I mean? It's a lot of projections of what people would do if they were in your meat suit. And I'm calling it a meat suit because that's how some people see you, pile number 3. And you probably know this. You're probably like, yeah, some people, even as a masculine, you know, it's not talked about, but some people see attractive masculines as just something to hump. You know what I mean? And not someone who has like inherent value, or could be a father, or could be, you know, someone bigger than just a pretty or attractive face. People think you're crazy because if they were as hot as you, they would be seriously damaging people's lives. With the Emperor in the 7th house, people could think you're crazy because of how you advocate for yourself in relationships. You could be really independent, or there's a feeling here that you have your own rules that you like to follow, or you have in your intimate relationships with people. And people could think that you're crazy for not conforming to certain relationship stereotypes. So, for example, you could be in a relationship and you say or do something that someone else feels like they could never do or say in a relationship. Almost as if they're projecting their standards and moralities of personal relationships onto you, when however you do it, it works for you. You and your partner could be so happy, but it's like everybody around you is calling you guys crazy because you do something different. Like, for example, there's a lot of married couples that sleep in separate rooms, and apparently their marriages last longer than people who sleep in the same bed. You know, it could be something as simple as that. It doesn't have to be crazy, you know, but it even could be something crazy, but it works for you and your partner. And other people could think that you're crazy because you're not just following what everybody else does in relationships. You know the list, okay? We date for 6 months, then I meet the parents, then we move in, then we get a dog. You know what I mean? Those little milestones, you probably don't resonate with those. You could be someone who doesn't want to get married. You know, you just want to have your partner, and people could think you're crazy. I know I'm thinking of a lot of examples, but it's almost like when people will get mad at celebrities for how they live their life, but it's only because if they were that celebrity, that's how they would vicariously live. I see this a lot with female celebrities when they decide to have a baby. People are like, why would you do this? This is ruining your career. And you know what I mean? Maybe that person just wanted to have a baby, you know? So there is this big thing about people mostly calling you crazy because they want to have your resources and your life and live it differently than how you do. Even with the Ace of Cups, this could be on the opposite spectrum where some of you guys, you believe in love, you believe in marriage. You're like, that is the route to go. And there could be people around you who are like, okay, marriage is for dummies. Have you seen the divorce rates? You know, it's just a lot of craziness because people have different lifestyles than you. There are a lot of you too that do have an openness with your heart, a vulnerability that people think is crazy. I would never be that open. I would never tell someone how I feel. I would never text them quickly after they text me. You don't seem to let your pride get in the way of what you want, especially when it comes to matters of the heart, and people think you're crazy for that. Even the fact that you're willing to explore deeper emotions with the people that you're with, having really deep talks with your lover, or really exploring the crevices of the psyche with someone else. And other people could think that's just too much. It's too deep. That's just, what's the point? Like, you know, it makes certain people uncomfortable to think about how deep and spiritual you really are when it comes to your heart. A lot of people think you're crazy too because of how you own your power and use your natural gifts out in the open in front of people. I'm seeing a mix of confusion and people being in awe. They don't know why you do what you do, but they're also in awe of how you do it. You're someone who easily shows that playful, sensual side of yourself, but you could be private about your personal life or aspects of your life. With the Two of Pentacles in the 11th house, there's something you balance between your public and your private life that other people can sense. And because they don't know what's going on, they could just fill in the blanks with something crazy. Oh, they're secretly not that confident. Oh, they secretly are, you know, crazy and climbing the ranks with their looks in the background. It's literally punishment for being attractive, punishment for being authentic, punishment for deciding to show yourself when others would rather you hide. I think for a long time, you dimmed yourself so other people could feel comfortable. Portrayed yourself as less attractive so people wouldn't feel ugly standing next to you. And if people feel ugly next to you, that's not a reflection of you or your behavior. That's a projection on them. A question they need to ask themselves. Why do I feel this way when I stand next to someone who's just standing in their power? This is less about you being crazy and more about people wishing you were, so they can feel better about themselves when they stand next to you. Well, I may not be physically hot, but at least I'm sound in my mind. Do you know what I mean? When you are perfectly sound, you got the Emperor and the Empress, plus the Queen of Wands and King of Swords. You're not crazy. You're well-rounded. You have so much contrast to you. You're sensual, but you're balanced. You're confident, but sometimes, yeah, you do have burdens, and yeah, you do have struggles. It all comes down to the fact that the way you showcase yourself is too beautiful to ignore. And when people can't prove that there's something wrong with you physically, they're going to try to make it seem like there's something wrong with you mentally. Because how could someone who looks this good actually be a good person, a smart person? You're like the anomaly that they didn't see coming. But that is your reading, pile number 3. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.